Welcome to Salaam Nerds Podcast. We do reviews and recaps of nerd culture, reality TV, and current events from this week.
Yo, it's the Salaam Nerds. My name is Dean, a.k.a. Watch Me Dean. I'm here with my boy Chad.
We drop live episodes on YouTube on Sundays, Tuesdays, and Wednesdays at 10:30 p.m. Eastern. All episodes can also be found everywhere podcasts are found. Thank you to all our supporters. Please help us by subscribing and leaving a good review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify.
Yo, Salaam Nerds. It's your boy Neebs, a.k.a. Watch with Neebs, and I'm here with my co-host, Jazz, a.k.a. The Realm's Delight.
Perfect.
I love that
man. Welcome everybody to the show. Last week I was not on. I had bad internet. I still might have bad internet. We'll see. I am in Arkansas of all places, so I am surprised they even have internet here, but they do. Last week I was in San Diego Comic-Con and I had a little bit of issue there too, but JJ and Jazz held it down. And poor Richard had COVID. Poor guy.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Oh yeah, I was. It felt like death, but I think I was just being dramatic. So I live.
Most men when they get sick.
I'm sick. I won't lie. I could just suffer an immense amount of pain, but if I'm sick, minor cold, I'm out.
It's true. I've literally been stabbed before, but if I get a stuffy nose, I'm insufferable because I have a deviated septum. So if I lose one nostril, I lose all ability to breathe. So I am like, I am the most annoying person when I have a stuffy nose. But I've been stabbed. I've literally been stabbed before, so I am not worried.
Neeb's lore goes deep.
It goes
no pun not intended.
Newark. I was just 8 years old when I was stabbed. That was no joke. I got stabbed at 8 years old, and then I walked home from the basketball court like nothing happened.
That's funny.
My man.
Oh, there's other people in Arkansas? No way. That's awesome. I am in Batesville right now, and I'm.
What did you think Arkansas was? Just like an empty piece of land? Like
that's what I'm imagining. No offense, Avery. Sorry.
Yeah. Listen, I put the con in Arkansas. All right, let's go. All right, guys.
funny.
Welcome to the show. JJ, of course, the MVP, who's always been keeping it down for us. And we basically have had one person sit out every single episode, but everyone was able to keep it going. So shout out to us.
Seriously,
shout out to us.
Holding it down under any circumstance.
I know. But mostly shout out to the comment section that's always been blowing up. They've been blowing up before this even started, man. We love to see that. People are watching from Kuwait. Oh my God, that's crazy.
Oh wow,
that's insane. I love that. This is so awesome. Listen. Is Kuwait basically Essos? Because like I felt those guys were a little brown coated, if you know what I mean.
They were definitely brown coated,
right? They may not have looked brown, but they were definitely brown coated. They got the belly dancing and everything. Oh,
I mean, in universe, a lot of them. It's a mixture of all different races, but a lot of them are brown coated.
Yeah. Like I saw the dagger, and I was like, I've seen that dagger before. That doesn't look like a Crusader's dagger. No way. That was really cool. So we start off the episode with the Lannister, and I loved his little story arc. I thought that was fun. It came out of nowhere for me. I was just like, well, we're just featuring him this episode. That's like, all right. And then like at the he's doing some trading, he's doing some negotiating. At the end, he has to get his shipwright person to sail with him. She's a woman, but he is too weak for her. Even though he's tall, he is a bit skinny. Which shout out to the big boys out there. I thought that was funny. And then he has to test his skill to basically see if he's worthy. What did you guys think about that? I thought that was that was fun. I like that.
The moment like she turns her, he's just like, "What do you want me to best you at?" And then it like hard cuts later to just mud wrestling. We didn't get much boobage this season, but we're getting some mud wrestling, male and female. Just get that out of the way for everybody. So that was very.
He held his own though.
He did.
obviously, like the whole sequence to me, like these episodes desperately need like comedy relief. That's like it's gonna break some of the tension, and I think it did that really well without like breaking how important the sequence is for the future obvious events. Like everybody's prepping for the battle for the gullet, and Admiral Lohar sort of like teasing Thailand the entire time, even name dropped Tywin at one point. I was like, yes.
That was crazy.
It was great.
Yeah.
And one of the I don't know if it's an Easter egg or not. To me, it's an Easter egg because Game of Thrones didn't do it. One of the main pirates he's negotiating with, it's got blue beard and the little bells in it. That's a character from very prominent one in the Song of Ice and Fire.
Yeah.
All hail Dario Naharis. We love Dario. I'm so happy.
When they showed her in the background walking up for a second, I thought it was the initial actor who played Dario Naharis, and it ended up being a woman. And I was like, oh, I almost threw my drink at the TV, but the female. Oh, okay, all right. They're not just
Abigail Thorne is like doing a lot lately. I don't know. She's Philosophy Tube. I think I watched her videos like years ago. So she transitioned into like acting, and it's doing like. Did Acolyte, one of the witches in Acolyte, Baldur's Gate game, and now Admiral Lohar in House of the Dragon, which it's an important role. So I was very excited to see her cast.
That's awesome. Someone said Essos has blue hair and pronouns. What?
Essos Austin confirmed.
Oh my god, that's so funny. That's hilarious. What did you think about him? Like, she definitely take a liking to him. So I was like, oh, cool. She's going to like flirt with him and stuff. And she's like, I want you to fuck my wife
the whole time. Yeah. I'm like, oh, something's happening.
the part that took me out goes, I want you to fuck my wife. I'm like, what?
How many?
That part was wild. Oh man,
it makes you wonder how many Lannister bastards are roaming Essos.
Yeah, exactly.
Little blonde hair out there.
Little like, blonde hair, little lions are roaming.
South by Southwest. Oh my god. Oh my god, that's so funny.
MTF with the zingers.
MTF is wild. Oh god. But then we also see Aegon, and Aegon is burning cities to the goddamn ground. What's going on with what's going on with him?
Aemon is being Aemon, impulsive, violent, and like reacting as he always does in a violent way. He's offended by the dragon seas taking over the dragons and Rhaenyra having the upper hand. So he's like, I'm gonna burn Sharp Point to the ground, which not a good look when you are the protector of the realm.
What did they ever do to you? Like you just
seriously. That was an extreme reaction. Extreme reaction. Like you tucked your tail under your legs and ran away from dragons so you can burn innocent people. Like,
yeah, we talked about it episode 1. You know, crap runs downhill. You know, so and so hits that person, and then the kid hits the dog, and you know you're close enough to Dragonstone that sorry, you got to get burned. It's your fault for being that close to Dragonstone.
Dragon fit, yeah, that's exactly right. He's having a dragon fit.
Heyman throwing a dragon fit. That's so true.
It's so true.
Usually a dragon fit is something you wear, but yeah, that matches too. I get that.
Totally.
Then we also see Larys and
the king,
Aegon talking, and they're talking, and he's like, hey, listen, we can find you passage out of here. And he's like, no, I'm the king. And he's like, well, are you though? Like, I don't know if that's gonna happen. He was like, I got no sausage, bro. That thing burst into flames. I was like, oh my god, bro, that is so graphic.
Way too graphic. I swear to God,
that was way too graphic. I was like, I can't even piss without it rolling down my leg. I was like, okay, Aegon, like, this is a therapy session for him. That was. I didn't like the fact that he told the people. Yeah, TMI. I didn't like the fact that he called the Essos people goat fuckers. I was like, yo, that sounds a little too close to home right there, man. I didn't like that. I didn't like that.
That is so on the nose with the racism. Oh my god.
Yeah. It was pretty racially charged.
But like on the list of like horrible shit he's done, I feel like racism is probably like down here.
That's fair. You just get away with it because of all the other bad stuff you've done in your life. It's like, you hate to give him a pass for it, but it's like, dude, there's bigger fish to fry right now.
Oh,
maybe like also
MTF.
maybe travel to Essos once in a while, check out the cities, check out the people before you sleep.
He's the one who wanted to go there in the first place. He's, put me on a ship to lease and I'll just take
For
off.
real.
Dude,
Seriously.
That's true. That's true.
Fried egg, no sausage. Oh no.
And the fried egg, no sausage comment is out of pocket, bro. That's crazy.
All I could see all over Twitter right after was the South Park Carlos Mencia comparisons. Oh man, my dick don't work. The whole time.
That is so true.
And I mean, you can kind of really understand like his like despondent ass state. Like he just doesn't care anymore. Like, like he kind of like post like right after before Theon really like kind of gets his legs back underneath him when he's still like reeking his mind. Like you can tell like there's something that does to you as a man that just I don't want to imagine it any longer than I have to, but I can imagine that I wouldn't be much more pleasant to be around than those two guys at that point. So
and being the virility and masculinity is such an important aspect of their traditional patriarchal society. So when you are memberless, like your masculinity is stripped from you. So
and he doesn't have an heir,
your power, and then you don't have manhood anymore. So it kind of ties into
his heir is gone. He has no means of creating another. So
that's
he can legitimize any of his bastards or put his brother, or he has a daughter, but they've already set a precedent.
That is true. That is true. What about Ulf and the Hammer chilling in the war room with their feet on the table? And Ulf is pissing me off this episode. I'm like, bro, have a little respect. Have a little respect.
Total
so annoying. What are your thoughts about him?
I mean, had it hung already. Yeah. One dinner with that guy, I'm just hanging him and I'm letting Silverwing pick a new rider. Because even at that point, you got so many riders already that like you don't need Silverwing. Like, give me a break. You were doing just fine with the 3-4 that you had. You just added Caraxes back to your back to the squad. So the hell do you need Silverwing for? Get rid of Ulf.
He's just behaving like Rhaenyra has no choice. So it's like, oh yeah, you're stuck with me. Like you need me so I can say whatever I want, including like make offhand comments to Jacaerys, like imply he's a bastard, like mention his dark hair, how they're cut from the same cloth and all of that. Like shit like that could get you hanged, could get your head on a spike. And he kept saying it, like kept pushing and feet on the table, then disrespect at the dinner, like the way he's talking. And Adam kind of put him in his place, which was one of my favorite moments. He was just being really annoying. While Hugh Hammer is a bit more, I don't know, knows how to behave at a dinner table. I don't
He's had
care
a wife and a child. Like
that is true. That is true.
Clearly been living the bachelor life for a little too long. He's a little rough around the edges.
He's a little rough around the edges. Yeah.
I love the comment here. Like, okay,
it's I feel like my. I do feel like my mic is a little bit delayed, so I'm gonna turn my camera off real quick. But somebody mentioned the tapestry, and there's something there. I actually skipped that, so I don't know if there's anything new to the tapestry.
Oh, the opening credits.
The credits. What was it? They had all of the dragon seeds essentially facing towards Vhagar, and then like the black thread like going like towards the throne. And dragons facing the other way from the throne. So that was new. And I think the Melee's and Sunfire outline looked a little bit different, if I remember correctly. So I'll need to take a snapshot of that to compare it. But it looked different.
Yeah, they're just adding some more detail.
Okay. What about Damon over there at Harrenhal? And he gets to meet the guy who he called a turncloak, which I was like, oh, that's a fun little turn of phrase.
So yeah, Alfred Brom made his appearance finally after Rhaenyra sent him to Harrenhal to get Daemon, and essentially he's like, "Yeah, Rhaenyra's okay, but the kingdom needs a king." So, and then Daemon is like, "Oh, that easy for you to be a turncloak?"
Just calling him out.
I don't think that's gonna like fare very, very well in the future. And then Simon Strong, just like he's been following Daemon the entire time, like you can kind of like gauge him that he's like doing shady shit, like. The way he's talking about Rhaenyra, the king versus king consort. So he's like, something is cooking here. And now like he gets a confirmation that something actually may take place, that Daemon may make his own claim. So he sends a letter to Rhaenyra to warn her, and that's when she grabs Adam, and they fly off to Harrenhal to like finally face Daemon.
Yeah, but when they get there, Damon's had a bit of a change of heart, and he goes through this whole freaking. He
my
basically
favorite part.
recaps.
My favorite part.
He recaps season 6 of Game of Thrones. That's basically what I feel like happens.
Yeah, it's a tough sequence to watch. If you've seen Game of Thrones, if you've seen that finale, it's like great. It doesn't matter knowing the outcome, but like I am of the belief, and I am on heavy amounts of copium. This is nothing but copium, and like, and my agenda is spreading that I think the show is signaling towards the books more so than the ending of HBO's Game of Thrones. Because one of the things, like in the Weirwood Tree, the face that's carved in it is authors, and I think George R. R. Martin was on set when when they did that, like the special
he's
effect.
Weirwood's face. I know for a fact, for Harrenhal, that's his face.
And to me, and just the appearance of the Green Men, which is such a, I don't want to say obscure. Most readers know what it is, but like they're not that prominent. They're not mentioned all the time. So I can't call it an obscure piece of lore, like the Order of the Green Men, like the character with the antlers. It's a very like niche piece of magic, and within A Song of Ice and Fire, mentioned a handful of times in the big encyclopedia, in the first book, and the Princess and the Queen novella. It was mentioned in that part as well, which later became part of Fire and Blood. So that was like super, super unique, extra niche Easter egg for the readers of the story. So like, and we know the Green Men and the Isle of Faces are going to play a major part in The Winds of Winter and Dream of Spring. Martin has said it many times. I think he's even mentioned that he regrets revealing as many things as he did about the Isle of Faces. It's like House Dane. You don't know shit about House Dane. You know a few things. You know a couple of their family members. You know about their sword. You know that they're ancient, but you don't know much about them. Same with Isle of Faces and the Green Men. They're heavily tied, obviously, into the old gods and the werewoods and the pact of ice and fire. The pact between Children of the Forest and the First Men was formed there to end their war. So that's when that Green Men Order was formed to protect those trees on the Isle of Faces and the island itself. So they are a way of communicating, I believe, between like Brendan Rivers and north of the Wall and with South Ron, which most of the trees in South were cut off. You have a handful in Isle of Faces, one by Harrenhal, and I believe in the show, one in the King's Landing. So, and then it goes through the whole sequence of seeing basically Game of Thrones, ending with Daenerys hatching the dragons.
Yeah.
So
I think the whole like prophecy and everything just all like kind of hard stops. It's just like, hey, we just need to finish the long night. So if Game of Thrones ended at episode 3, or I think that's when the last season and episode 3, if it just hard cuts right there, that's pretty much all this whole prophecy and everything that they've been building up, and that Damon's, his vision and all that stuff kind of gets to. But I'm just glad that all these visions and stuff have come to like a head and a conclusion.
Yeah.
Not just so that way they ended, but that way they had like a meaning. So that way, Daemon had to get his thumb out of his butt and realize, no, everything goes to Rhaenyra. This is the way, because certain things have to unfold the way they're going to, and he's coming to the realization that, like Alice said, that he is a piece on the board, not a player, and he needs to play his role.
Everything is bigger than them, like them as individuals and their struggle, because a much larger threat is gonna come.
Right,
the kingdom has to be united to face it.
He has to be the great grandfather.
Not that far, actually.
I thought it was 6. I thought it was 6 traits.
Brendan would be his grandchild. So not too far. Yeah.
4. Okay.
I'm sorry, great grandchild.
So 5. Okay. I was one off.
Someone do the math in the comments.
No, for sure. His son Viserys, his son Aegon's son is Brendan. So
right, yeah.
Great grandchild.
Makes sense.
So it's not too far in history.
That's correct. Yes.
There you go. To Danny, correct.
It was that correct. Okay, yep. I got it.
You were counting from Daenerys, not from Daemon. My bad. I apologize.
Correct.
This is like an episode of The Crown.
Yeah, straight up it is.
Do you think
pull chart, okay?
Pulling out the Bible.
Yes.
My question is
I have it laminated.
Did
The holy
Damon
text.
get laid that day when he bent the knee? That's what I want to know. She was very pleased.
Yeah.
Yep, the chart is back. My favorite part.
The family wreath. Oh, you're terrible.
The wreath.
Oh, the family wreath. That's funny.
It's not a tree. It's a trunk. Oh my god, I'm choking.
It's just a bush at this point.
Oh.
We're both
Jazz,
like
go to some
popping
more
up our
comments.
legs.
Yeah.
Sorry about that. Yes,
So-
that was my favorite part of the episode. Like I was in the Twitter Spaces last night. I'm like, I literally went tunnel vision. I blacked out on everything else. Like I was just like, I saw Brendan Rivers being done correctly, except he wasn't blind in one of the eye. I'll forgive that. But the blood stain, like the stain on his cheek, and like he just looks exactly how Brendan Rivers should look, minus the eye. But I'll forgive. But
All right, we'll get to see him next year, won't we?
yes, we will. I don't know if this is the same actor they're gonna hire. I wonder if
I can imagine
it's a soft launch.
Yeah. I mean, we'll see. They'll probably announce in the next few weeks whether they're actually going to use him or not. Because I imagine they've probably gotten a handful of principal filming already done. So either they're going to stick with that guy, or they're just going to like, yeah, no, we just needed you for a day. See ya. We'll see.
If anybody has the name of that actor, please drop it in the comments. That way I can look it up and keep my eye out on it if he gets hired for Dunkin' Egg. So that'll be great.
That would be cool.
I do love seeing the red comet and the eggs, and obviously final vision of Danny birthing the dragons and her theme playing in the background, which is always so great. So
what are your
We all
thoughts
got
about
chills.
the Helena and Eamon situation? Because Helena was also seeing the visions, and she meets Damon in the vision, and then when she comes out of it, we also see her interacting with Aemon, and that was a spin.
So something interesting is happening there as far as like the magic is concerned. So Helena was established as a dragon dreamer. Essentially, these are dreams that have like futuristic prophetic visions, and usually they have dragons in. That's why they're called dragon dreams. Usually Targaryens have them, not all of them. On occasion, some will have it. Alice Rivers, if the lore is loring, she has these green dreams, which we know of a character called Jojen Reed. In the original saga, he has these green dreams. It's what kind of guides Bran Stark to Brendan, like these visions of him. So they're sort of similar. So what I think is happening, Richard, please, if you can add more lore to it. None of this is very defined in the book, but like as far as like Alice having the green dreams and Helena having dragon dreams, I think they're being sort of bridged.
They definitely are, because I mean, yeah, as far
Together.
as like book wise, they should be two totally different things. And in my head, I'm thinking of like Valyrian blood magic on one side, and then like old god magic on the other. But they're kind of getting melded here, and I think to me, it's a little bit of a slap in the face to the diehard like lores and the gatekeepers and shit, which I actually will let go of and just be like, hey, you know what? I enjoy good television, so I'm not going to bitch too hard.
But the thing is, like, they don't even define that in the original books. Like, there's no.
So for all we know, it could be
the
exact same thing, and so a little ambiguity is always good, because little ambiguity always covers up like shortcomings in writing, because just being the ambiguity, can kind of shield you from just like, oh, well, nobody knows. And, like kind of like how dragons find their riders. And, we thought for the longest time you have to approach the dragon. No, sometimes the dragon will just come up and find you. So,
and that too, correct. Yeah.
So until, we actually have on record from George R. R. Martin, this is exactly how it works. It's up in the air. So
it's up in the air, yeah. And you were like spot on mentioning the blood magic of ancient Valyria. Like if they use blood magic to kind of create these bonds with their dragons, the trees, like the weirwoods, they bleed as well. So there's a lot of, and they're like cannibalistic trees in some places.
Yeah.
Like I believe in Skagos, they punish their criminals by like taking their entrails and hanging them into the weirwoods.
Oh.
And the tree, like
they wild on that island.
I mean, shit gets crazy. Correct, yeah. And what I love about A Song of Ice and Fire Magic, and you said it really well, it's ambiguous. Like there is no a card that's gonna solve a plot. it could work or it couldn't work. And I think that's what keeps the story interesting, because he's not gonna like pull a magic card to resolve a plot or handle a plot crutch or something like that. So
right, it's always better just leave it kind of up in the air.
Kind of
The mystery.
yeah. Sorry,
we have
Michael.
a comment here. He says, "I still ship Helena and Aemond."
I don't anymore.
Ew, brother. Ew. What is that?
Hey, one thing I will say about Aegon, he never put his hands on Helena. I just watched him put his hands on Helena. Fuck that guy. He can burn.
You know what? Like, leave her alone. Get a job. My friend.
Yeah, she's been on our podcast before for Star Wars, so it's great seeing you.
That's my girl.
What are your thoughts about Crispin Cole and Gawain talking about him fucking his sister?
I mean,
I like
it's
how it's so matter of fact.
more than
They're
that.
like,
busted.
I mean, it's a little bit more than that. Like, hot take, that was one of the best scenes in the entire season finale. I'm sorry. Like,
I would agree with you.
There's just something about the Kingsguard, and this is again heavily played into the current saga. Like, Jaime Lannister plays with the idea of ideals and oaths in the Kingsguard, and keep into those ideals. But it's all a ruse. At the end of the day, you make the decisions that you make, and it can corrupt you. And that's what happened to Kristen Cole. And then after witnessing what the dragons can do, how they change the tide of the war, like, he's left with nothing. Like, what are we doing this for? Like, we are nothing beneath their feet. We're marching to our annihilation. That conversation was wonderful. Like, definitely my favorite. If that's a hot take, it is what it is. I know people hate on Kristen Cole and all of that, but I think he's been a very well-rounded, villainous, antagonistic character. So
he's ready to die. Dude, like, he's almost like he's damn near welcoming it, because it's just like, dude, I'm for the third time, I'm just tired, boss. I'm tired of.
Yes.
I don't want to live on the planet anymore. And so he's just like, fine, well, you know what? At least I can die sword in hand, or at least, a dragon burning me alive sounds pretty quick. So,
and he was walking, a dead man walking, but he's also was very kind of quick to protect Alicent as well. Like, do you want to stain the name Hightower by accusing me publicly and sending me to the wall, accusing me of sleeping with your sister? Like, that puts her in danger as well. And I think Wayne realized that when he was like publicly calling him out in front of everybody that heard it. So I don't know how that's going to play out in the future.
I think Gawain's also forgot that he's speaking to the hand of the king. So
that too.
Gawain, who are you? Nobody.
It was very emotionally charged, the whole scene. He saw the napkin and like Kristen Cole reflecting on how desire for women has ruined him. Like, he did, like, you need to like control yourself, man. Essentially what he told him. So yeah.
MTF, what are you doing here? Chris Cole said that's why they call it the show Hot Tea.
My
Fabian Frankel is a lovely looking man. So yes.
That is true. What are your thoughts about Alicent when she shows up to beg Rhaenyra to let her and her daughter go free, and she comes up with this wild harebrained scheme about how she's going to let her take back the throne? That was a little wild, and Rhaenyra did not let her off the hook easily. She says, listen, it's going to be a son for a son. That was wild. What are your thoughts, guys?
I was not a fan of that scene. Personally, I don't know what else they have to talk about. Like, cards have been laid out. So it's just, for me, that whole scene was like virtue signaling to the audience, repeating the same talking points that we've had over the past few years regarding their dynamic and their relationship. But I get what they're trying to do. They want to flip like their roles in different direction, being now that even like the ending shots themselves are literally of Alicent like staring out in the sea, surrounded by nothing, like signaling her freedom from whatever, and then Rhaenyra under the scrolls, like carrying the history and legacy of her family and the burden that she has to carry to reunite the kingdom. So jailed versus free, and they kind of flipped over. And I do love the line, like, you made virtue your banner. Like, when they talk about taking a lover, I'm like, you took lover. Well, I took lover. Well, I didn't make virtue my banner. You did. You're the hypocrite. But like, audience knows this, so I don't care. Like, Alicent is just not a compelling character to me in this version of Alicent. my least favorite part of the House of the Dragon. That's just my opinion. I don't know.
I did like her when she finally stood up for Helena this episode. I felt like that was a little bit of character growth because she's never really been there for any of her kids, and this is the first time you see her kind of stand up for her.
Yeah. I mean, especially because Aemon needs dragon riders, and Helena doesn't want to burn people. So he's like, when he grabbed her, like Richard said, like, don't fuck you as Dawn at that point.
Leave my autistic queen alone.
Yeah, seriously, leave her alone.
How
she has no enemies. Even Rhaenyra was like, well, Helena, nah, she won't.
Yeah, she knew like right from the get, Helena's fine. But how Alicent or how Rhaenyra was telling in that conversation they were having that Alicent was going to go down as a cruel basically go down as the villain. And when you read Fire and Blood, that's exactly how she's portrayed. And as she's saying that, I'm like, oh no,
they're doing it.
History book based on all that. It's like that's exactly how she was portrayed and how it went down. And it's like, I mean, it stung so much knowing that if this is like how it really went down, as opposed to how it was.
I know what you mean.
Yeah, it was like, damn, like it's a little poetic, but then you also see the kind of juxtaposition of, like you're saying, with the weight of all the Targaryen history on Rhaenyra and Alicent being free. It was flip-flop for him, the entire time, because Alicent, was the one who always had to do her duty and was doing what was expected of her. And now she's just saying, F it, I just want to grab my girl and walk away. And Rhaenyra is the one who's, no, this is my job, this is my duty. I got to fight this one out. It's
such a drastic change from season 1.
Yeah, it is.
And it felt like a necessary conversation, even though I wasn't the greatest fan of it. But it was like, okay, this feels like, have y'all had y'all's closure now? Have we had enough talk? Can the armies march? Can we see fire and blood now?
But not even that. It's the constant, like Michael said, security, like the sneaking in. Like, I'm so like done with those plots. Like, I get Blood and Cheese. Like, I get the Cargill twins. Like, I can make sense of those sneak plots, but like of Rhaenyra going into the Sept and then Alicent now coming into Dragonstone, like nobody noticing, nobody like saying anything, not even rumors flying around it. Like, I don't know.
Don't be suspicious. Don't be suspicious.
They're terrible guards. The worst guards of all time. Jesus.
Well, the guards let him in this time. Like, they came to the front door,
like,
and
overall, like just y'all need better security. Everyone needs better security.
They just want to. They probably wanted to get to a point where they have a conversation about like Alicent like thinking that she could still like get out of this unscathed. Like, no, when I come into Red Keep, your son will die, and not only does he have to die, everybody has to watch him die. He's like, oh, I can make him bend the knee. No, it's not how this works.
He can't even get out of bed right now.
Correct. Like, it's not how it works. And she wants to like try to like get out of all of this without like any consequences, like of things that were set in motion. Not that Alicent had full responsibility for what happened, but she added fuel to the fire, literally, like 100%. So like, you can't just like walk it back. You can't like go back the way it was.
And they could have before all this stuff started, and it wouldn't have been as Otto said. But now Otto's words are ringing true that Rhaenyra will have to kill your child, or she says children, but has to kill Aegon in order to secure her claim. And it's like, sorry, Alicent, you made this bed, or at least you played your part in it.
Well, how would that work now that he has escaped to Essos?
Now it's up in the air.
Spoilers.
Now it's fun. Yeah, we can't go into there. Even last week, I know I got some messages about people.
King's Landing. So that much is confirmed.
But it's so funny. Like, Aegon is not the smartest like tool like person in the world. He's like, yeah, I'm just gonna go and like arrest my brother for trying to kill me, and then who's gonna ride Vhagar? And you don't have dragons. Rhaenyra has 7. Like, what do you?
You can't even blame him for being drunk. He's sober. It's like, dude, come on. You've been out milking the pop. You should be thinking. He doesn't think so much.
What is the wooden throne? It's probably the wheelchair he'll have to sit in.
Or the chariot that's currently whisking him out. What is it, like a chicken coop or something? That was
it looked like a chicken coop, yeah.
It was a chicken coop. Yeah, they were like literally in the middle of a bunch of animals. I was like,
That's funny.
He just looks so despondent, like leaving. Like Larys like knows, like, hey, we're still not quite out of trouble yet. But Aegon's just like, nah, I'm here for the wine. Forget it.
But you know what? Like that, like Laris would have capability, resources, and the ways to sneak out a king. Like that, I can believe.
Yes.
The rest, I want to be done with it. I thought we were done with it after the Sept infiltration. Apparently not. So, and I get why they had to do that. I wish there was another way to kind of for Allison and Raina to have these conversations, but it was a little fan servicey for me, just a tiny bit.
Yeah.
I don't know.
That makes sense.
That part
they had to fill up 70 minutes of the season 3 trailers, so here we are.
Yeah.
Well, I don't feel that way. Come on.
I tell everybody, it's like, look, if we had gotten the extra 2 episodes, like,
it would change it. I agree. I 100% agree. I think if it was a 10-episode season, which I think it was initially, and then like filming around strikes, the script rewrites that we heard about over the last year,
budgets and stuff like that, they really want to save the budget for
the gullet. Yeah. So they were. You could tell a lot of scenes were cut up, and I do believe the season would have benefited from 10 episodes, like you said. Maybe even like not really have full blown gullet battle, but like get to it. Yeah. Or at least have the 2 episodes dedicated to Raina and Sheep Stealer. So, because we just see him for a second and then it's done.
He looks so ugly.
He's supposed to be ugly.
It's okay.
I fucking love it. I love it.
I do too, because I'm tired of looking at like all these like pretty beautiful like dragons and stuff. Like Silverwing looked awesome. Vermithor, of course, not ugly, just a little bit older. But then like you see Sheep Stealer, like, oh my god, what is that? Dude.
The wings looking crazy, like with the I imagine what they look like when they're spread in the air. That's gonna look wild. It did look crazy. a little small. Although, like, we don't see Raina close to him to create the perception. Right. Yes, ugly and beautiful. That's right. So hopefully,
she's the Daniel Craig of dragons.
Oh my god. Yeah, that sounds about right. But I would have loved to see her claim him, but she's not going to claim him just by walking up to him. It's a process with a wild dragon. This is an unknown territory. And maybe the 2 episodes that we would have gotten in season 2, if they did it this way, we could have gotten some of that. And maybe do something a little bit more with Gullet.
Well, I'm very curious to see the difference between like a wild dragon versus another one. I want to know what the process is and how different it is. And that'd be really cool to see.
We shall find out in season 3.
Ooh.
Hopefully.
So I hope, hopefully they don't just cuts to her just like flying away on him.
Oh my god, I'm gonna fucking rage. I'm gonna like throw my computer across the screen. I swear to God, I need to see that process.
Yeah.
No Sheep Stealer slander. No, we love Sheep Stealer. He's one of my favorites. Absolutely.
We do stand an ugly dragon.
Top tier dragon right there. Hopefully he's gonna be a little bigger in season 3, just a little bigger.
Someone says wild dragons don't get manicures.
That's fair. A little long in the tooth.
What are your thoughts? A lot of the people are saying that there weren't enough fights and enough battles in this season, and that it was mostly just a lot of like political stuff, and because of that, they didn't really like the show as much for this season. Like I enjoyed a lot of the political banter going back and forth. I didn't need so much battles, but I know for a finale, I wouldn't have mind something a little bit more dramatic. I feel like it was just like a tee up for a finale instead of a finale itself, which I think that may be valid. But overall, I enjoyed it a lot. What are your thoughts about the season overall?
Well, I mean, I've seen some crazy ass comments. I'm not gonna lie to you. I've seen some insane shit. Like this was worse than Game of Thrones season 8 finale.
No, absolutely not.
I swear to God, these tweets have like, 50, 60,000 likes. Like wild. Like I was shocked. I'm like, we have a short-term memory of how bad season 8 was.
Yeah.
Like you don't remember how bad season 8 was. And to compare the 2 just because you didn't get rah and clank and boom for an hour is insane to me. Like obviously, like there's a structure. Ryan Condal confirmed that apparently today there's only 4 seasons of House of the Dragon. So there's a structure here. And discounting the cuts to 10 episode structure, you have the usurpation, the setup, the war being set up, essentially taking places. Even the marketing was playing up the chess theme in the Entertainment Weekly with Olivia Cook and Emma Darcy. Choose your team. Like it's literally like putting everybody on the board. So in season 3, when literally you start moving the pieces on the chessboard, everything is in place. And a lot of this episode was to basically get characters to a point where they can engage in the battle and resolve a lot of the building plot. Like Alan of Hull, like Alan of Hull finally confronting Corlys about his being an absentee father. Not that Corlys as a noble lord of Westeros would ever like knowingly take care of his bastard son, but just like him not sending anything to the kids, like no food or
that was
coats.
a sad story. I was like, damn.
That was really sad. Like, and Alan, the entire season, you could tell on the actor's face. And Abu Bakr Salim has done a wonderful job. Alan is one of my favorite characters in A Song of Ice and Fire in general, like top 10. Like, I love Oakenfist, and you can see that character sort of building slowly. Like, he's been holding back so much. Every time he talks with Corlys Velaryon, you can tell he's like repressing everything, the whole time. And then Corlys is like, "Well, I was trying to help you." I'm like, "You did what? Now that you lost your children, your heir, now you want to help? Well, I watched you carry your heir in your back."
The stab he takes at poor Laenor with the furs over his shoulder. I was like, "Oh, that's the biggest freaking."
It was so sad watching them.
I've ever heard, but like he's pissed. He has every right to.
He's right. He's right though. Like,
I'd be
100%.
pissed too. Everything he said to Corlys Velaryon was absolutely true. Like, to him, at least in his growing up experience, which obviously was not great, and just how different paths his brother and him were taken as far as like fire and blood versus sea and salt, salt and sea. So like, I personally, like, for me, like, that was a great resolution for Alan to finally say his piece. And at the end, he's sailing with his father to Gullet to face the Triarchy. Which, and again, a lot of like Alicent and Rhaenyra, Daemon finally coming, like Richard said, taking thumb out of his ass and finally realizing all of this is bigger than everybody currently at play. So it's a lot of resolution of things that were building up slowly. And usually, if you watched Game of Thrones, last episode is always a setup for the following season. They never go all out. Like when Daenerys sails to Westeros, it literally ends on her on the sea. Like, it's always a penultimate episode, like the Dragon Seeds, and like that episode should have had more action, in my opinion. Not this one, but the previous one should have had something more impactful. Usually, Game of Thrones, structurally, last episode of each season is quiet. It's quite a bit of a setup.
Second to last episode's
it's the aftermath of the penultimate episode. And like Cam said earlier, I can't believe my fantasy politics show had fantasy and politics. Like, dude, watch something else if all you want is like explosions.
I love it.
Like, dude, just get out of here. Like, okay, you want to be with the culture and watch, like the popular show, but like, dude, remember seasons 1 through 3 of Game of Thrones? Like, the real hard hitting stuff was all low budget talking. As Tyrion said, the great conversations in elegant rooms. That's what it was. And then you get a little
until the Red Wedding
budget and a nice little battle of the aftermath or whatever.
Red Wedding happened. Shit hit the fan.
Yeah, and now guess what? People are spoiled and they need to be brought back down to earth. And I will pull out my beaten stick and get started. But
it's so funny. Our complaints in season 1, it was going so fast because of the jumping of the timeline. Changes of the actors into younger, into older. Like, slow down. Let's meet these characters and their motivations. Let's have them talk. Now they're talking and they're still not happy. So like, there's no fucking way to keep this fandom happy in any cost. Like, personally, to me, I like the quiet moments of A Song of Ice and Fire. That's where George R. R. Martin literally thrives as a writer, as an author. Like, literally open up. This episode was feast for crows. Let's be for fucking real for a second. So, and that it truly was. It has those elements. So it was just a lot of like politicking and talking and characters coming together. So you're not going to be getting Storm of Swords every single fucking season. It's not happening. Even Song of Ice and Fire only has one Storm of Swords. Let's be real. Sorry, I am off my soapbox. I'm sorry.
No, it's okay. Like, this is great.
I was just having a rough day.
I'm getting the yellow.
I was sharing some fire comments while you were going on your rant, and they're so good. And if you're watching this on Spotify, I highly recommend you get on YouTube and check out some of the comments because they are so funny. But
the comments are gold.
Oh, I love it. Thank you guys. I've been having a rough fucking week, so this is nice. I appreciate.
Yeah.
What did you expect us to also be in the boat of like the season
I
sucked?
don't know. Like I saw that tweet at 50,000 likes with people saying it's worse than Game of Thrones season 8, and I lost all faith.
Yeah.
Well, I'm gonna be honest. There's probably at least 100,000 idiots in this country alone, not to mention all over the world, and they all unfortunately have access to this.
That is true. Everybody just
Putting up
wants literally
monkeys.
little clips for TikTok edits. Like I'm so sick of the
Rage bait.
I'm so sick of it. Rage bait and clickbait. And like if you're gonna say Game of Thrones, House of Dragon season 2 is worse than Game of Thrones season 8, list me 5 specific reasons why. They just post it out and 50,000 people speaking facts. What the fuck are you watching? Is this going to be 50,000 less of you watching season 3? Because please, God,
great.
Maybe I'll have peace for once in my fucking life. And these people are going to be watching Dunk and Egg. There's no dragons. There's no war.
Well, don't tell them that. They're going to start freaking out now.
No. I need to
get rid of them now.
I need to weed out the fucking short span attention losers out of Dunk and Egg so I can have peace and enjoy and not have my joy sucked out daily by the I need rah for 5 fucking episodes.
Yeah, see,
I'm done.
I'll engage with them. I'll keep talking my shit. Like I said, you follow me at Fuck Off Harvey for a bad time because I promise that's half of my content. The other half is being an Astros apologist right now. So
that's so funny.
I mean,
love it.
We love the Astros.
Yes, we do.
Do we though?
Yes, we do. We got 2 Houstonians here. We love the Astros.
All right. Well,
so
listen,
sweet.
guys. This was really, really fun. And we had so much fun. But we're not going to get to do this for another, 2 years?
Yeah, there's
House of Dragons. We've got Dunk and Egg next year.
We got Dunk and Egg. If you guys are interested in watching that, you guys will covering that.
If you guys come back for Dunk and Egg, we'll make it happen. I think the people want it. Let's give the people what they want.
I think
in this chat, I'm
I've got better things to do with my life right now than to be here for Dunk and Egg next year. I'll be here. Don't worry. Unless I got COVID, I'll be here.
You know, God willing, we're all alive and well.
All right, we'll
do it again.
And I'm not in Arkansas. Hopefully, we'll make it happen. Well, thank you everybody for joining. Before we go, JJ, can you let people know where they can find you?
Yeah, you can find me on TikTok and Twitter under Lady Dragon JJ. I do have Instagram, but I post mostly on Twitter and TikTok. So, yeah, thank you for having me. This was another great year.
No problem. And Harvey, you already gave your stuff, so I don't need to repeat.
You call him Harvey?
Follow me for bad time. I love it.
Fuck off, Harvey. We already got that, so we're good to go. Everybody in the comments, thank you so much for joining us. We love having you guys here. Please don't forget to like, share, comment, subscribe, join all of our other stuff. We're almost at 10,000 followers. We love that. And until next time, guys, Salaam, nerds.
Peace.